What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This one's a little bit different from the videos we've been doing on the Z1000 build. You get to hear my voice today. Today we're going to be talking about lubricating your cables on your bike, which a lot of people actually don't do enough. I like to lube my cables at least once a season, depending on how old your cables are. It might need it more than that. I'm actually putting in a brand new throttle cable into this bike this year. So I have two methods that I'm going to show you today. The second method in this video doesn't really require any specialty tools like the first method. So if you want to see that one, the first link in the description will take you directly to skip over the first method and hit up the second method. So for the first method, you do need a specialty tool. So this is what you're going to need. First of all, let's get rid of this stuff because that's for the second method. But for the first method, this is all you're going to need. So get yourself a good cable lube. I like this stuff, the Motion Pro. Most of the stuff off the shelf is pretty good. It doesn't really matter what you buy. I just like this stuff because it doesn't stink. I find a lot of other cable lubes really stink up the shop that you're in, especially when you're in a small little shed like this. This stuff smells awesome. It literally smells like bananas. So if you want something that smells good and doesn't stink up the shop, I would recommend this stuff right here. I've been using it the past couple of years, and this stuff works really good. And then the second thing you're going to need for this first method is a cable lubing tool. So this is specifically designed for lubricating cables on a motorcycle. There will be links in the description for just an off-brand Amazon one like this is. I know a lot of companies make better quality ones that are supposed to last longer, but I've been using this one, haven't had any troubles with it. So as you can see, one end is open, one end is closed. You stick your cable in here, and then you can spray, as you can see, once you tighten this down, you can spray your cable lube right into the hole. So let's go ahead and open up our brand new throttle cable here. So obviously I'm going to be doing this off of the motorcycle, but this method is 100% possible on the motorcycle as well. Also, something to note, a lot of throttle cables use this kind of style end to it, and if you have a bike that has this style end, you don't really even need a cable luber because you can literally stick the straw right down in this hole right here and it'll kind of self-guide itself. But to be efficient and not lose any cable lube and be cleanly, we're going to use the cable luber, and we're actually going to start at this end and let gravity feed it through the opposite way you would if it was on the bike, say. We're going to take our cable luber here, open her up all the way, back the screws off. We're going to insert our cable here, like so. I like to leave a little bit of cable at the other end, just so that it's not blocking any sort of hole. On this one it wouldn't, but I usually like to leave a little bit slack. So once you have your cable in there, make sure you got it pushed all the way to the edge here so that you can create a good seal. Tighten this bad boy down like so, and you basically just want to make sure that this has a really good seal on here, and that way when you're spraying the lube in, you're not losing any out the sides, or you are going to lose a little bit. So now that you've got that tight cable, a little bit of slack on the other end, you're going to grab yourself something to drain the cable lube into. I've just got a bucket here, and you can set it up on a vise like I'm about to, or do whatever. You just basically want the cable to assist with gravity, so spray it up here and let the cable lube go through the cable using gravity. All right, now that I got that set up, all we got to do is take our cable lube, install our little straw here, and then we're going to stick that straw into this hole right there. And what I like to do is I like to grab some sort of rag or something and just stick it around here, and that just avoids a little bit of mess. And just like that. So after a couple minutes of hitting the cable with that cable lube, you can see we're starting to get some dripping action going on out of this end of the cable, which means obviously the lube has made it from the top to the bottom. And that's it. All you want to see is lube coming out the other end of the cable that you sprayed from. Obviously make sure that the cable itself isn't carrying the lube down and then dripping off of it. You want to make sure that it's coming out of the actual cable housing, like so. And once you have 1 or 2 drops out the other end of the cable, you know that your cable is lubed and it's just going to be silky smooth for the season. And in my case, this one is going to be ready for install. Now for method number 2, and this is kind of an at-home DIY method, doesn't require any special tools. It does require a couple things though: electrical tape or some sort of tape that's going to seal, and a funnel, and of course your cable lube as well. The first step obviously is to pull whichever cable you're planning on lubing up. In my case right now, I'm going to be lubricating the clutch cable. So it comes from the lever here, comes all the way down to the clutch housing here, and it pulls on this clutch release lever right there. So there's your other cable end right there. That's where you're going to be looking for your fluid once you're spraying the cable here. As you can see, I've went ahead and put a little bit of tape on the cable, the end of this cable. And the only reason I did that is because my funnel, as you can see, is a little bit larger than the cable that I'm trying to tape onto. And you want it to be a pretty snug fit. And you also want the end of this funnel to be above where the cable hole is, and that way there's not cable lube just kind of sitting in this for when you take the tape off. So hopefully I put enough on, but what you're going to do is you're going to insert your cable through the funnel like so, shove it on there like that. And then what you're going to do, I mean, you technically don't have to now if you've got a good seal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape all around that funnel and make sure that there's going to be no cable lube that comes through there. And all of it has to be forced through the cable. All right, so now I have this taped up, as you can see. And just the gist of it is you're going to be putting cable lube into this funnel, trying to fill it up as much as you can, really. I mean, obviously for a $35 can of cable lube, you don't want to empty the whole can into one cable, but you want enough that it's going to get up past where the cable comes out of its housing. I'm going to be taking my cable lube, I'm going to spray some in here, fill this up a bit. Should be enough. I'll let the bubbling all get out of here and make sure our level is above where we need it. So it's still a little hard to see, but the bubbling has gone down and you can see my level. I didn't put a crazy amount in, and you're gonna continue to see it bubbling, and that's just the air from the inside of the cable coming out of the cable and bubbling up a little bit. Now, depending on how crusty and how long it's been since you've lubed your cable, this method obviously is going to take a little bit longer because all it does is rely on gravity to feed this through the cable, especially if it's in the bike, because it doesn't obviously go straight down. It goes down and around and then comes out over here. But all that you're looking for is for lubrication to be coming out this end of the housing. Once this guy over here is dripping cable lube, that's it. I mean, just a couple drips and you know that obviously the gravity has fed the cable lube from the top to the bottom of the cable in its entirety, and you are ready to roll for the season. So that's it. 2 super simple, super cheap ways to lubricate your motorcycle cables. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.